Good afternoon and welcome to another week of the Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show with your hosts Matty Highland,
Smitty McQueen.
Today we have a full lineup to get your week started. Let's get started, Smitty.
Let's do it.
We have our college football review from this weekend. We'll start with our picks from the weekend. You went 4-3. I went 2-5.
It was a rough one.
Yeah. And overall, you are 12-7, and I am 8-11 on the year. To recap this weekend's college football, a big win for Big 12 team, the KU Jayhawks.
Hawks.
They claimed their first Big 12 win over Texas after losing 19 straight Big 12 games and beating the Longhorns for the first time since 1938 with a 24-21 overtime win. I did pick this game correctly.
You did.
The score was but I picked 28-27. It was really close. You went with Texas.
Yeah.
What's happening now with Texas after losing?
Oh my goodness. Texas, they're really let me down. Pretty disappointed in Texas. But hey, congrats to the Jayhawks, man. I mean, they deserve that. The fans, I'm happy for you guys. You guys definitely have been deserving of it. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, buts about it. I'm a little disappointed in the way Texas played. Charlie Strong, we're going to talk more about him later. I think he is out. There's rumors he is. He's not.
Who knows?
Just make a decision.
Yes. The athletic director needs to get busy.
Definitely.
With work.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that just in a little bit. But it's a huge win for KU. They hadn't beat Texas since 1938. They ended a 19-game losing streak in the Big 12. And then they stormed the field. They stormed it.
Broke the goalpost.
Yes, and I had a classmate who was storming the field. I kind of went off on Twitter. You know, hey, heat of the moment. I like seeing it in football more than I do basketball, I'll be honest, because I feel like football, it's a lot safer. And then on top of it, the fans didn't fill the whole field, technically. So, that's okay. Totally admired it. So, you know, hey, congrats.
Now they got to move on. And
Yeah. Now
face the Wildcats.
Yeah.
This next week.
I'm happy KU got that win. I think a little hangover hopefully comes.
We'll see about that.
We'll definitely have that on our Friday show, so you won't want to miss out. It'll be the Battle of the Sunflower Showdown.
Yeah.
So it's in Bill Snyder. So Matt, thoughts on Charlie Strong? This is a breaking news type of situation. I mean, once you see them lose to KU, I think everyone's like, well, Charlie's no longer there. Do you think he has a chance if he beats TCU? There's rumors out there he's been fired. There's rumors that Charlie Strong,
Kirk Herbstreit said that on Twitter.
Yeah.
That he was not fired.
He could
He had heard nothing from the school yet.
Yes.
Even though there's been reports. They did say they would make a decision after the TCU game, but if you're going to, I mean, this is a prime example of the media blowing things up. Come out and make a statement and say whether or not he's gone or not. I mean, you can't just let the fans say, "Oh, Charlie Strong's gone." The Longhorn fans or the other schools like KU. Yeah, we knocked the coach out of his job.
Yeah,
it is just depressing for a Longhorn fan or Longhorn team to lose to the Jayhawks, who had not won a Big 12 game in 2 years. So I think he's out, no matter if he wins or loses against TCU.
I'm disappointed in their AD.
Yes, I agree.
Their athletic director needs to be either defending him, saying we have not made a decision, or he needs to just come out and say, hey, you're done. This is horrible.
Just be straight up.
Horrible job by the Texas AD. And in a way, I feel bad for Charlie Strong because I think Charlie Strong is a great coach, and I think he will go if he does get fired, he's gonna go somewhere, and he's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
He's
agree.
He's a great coach. He
Lots
needs to
of
stay
big
in
shoes
college.
to fill when he
Yeah.
first stepped in to replace Mac Brown. So
In Texas, if you're not winning,
you're losing.
they're gonna bump you out of town.
Yeah.
So I think definitely the AD needs to come
Yes.
say something, and he needs to back up his head coach right now. If he is still the head coach, I mean, they've said he's coaching. He's coaching this weekend, Friday, so against TCU. So I guess we'll see after Friday if they fire him or not, because that's when it's gonna come.
Enough about Texas. You want to talk about your Wildcats?
Yeah, they
They're
struggled the
victory this
first half.
weekend.
Struggled the first half,
running game.
and then the second
Pushed
half,
through.
just 40,
Ran the Bears down.
42-21 in Waco. I'm going to go ahead and say this. The Baylor Bears are in big trouble. They've got an issue going on with their program.
Yes.
K-State now clinches a bowl game once again for the 7th straight year ever since Bill Snyder came back. Bill Snyder, Bill Nye. Bill Snyder, the legend. So yeah, I think it's a huge win for K-State. Baylor, they got to figure their program out right now because it's falling off.
Coach is gone. What are they?
Yeah.
They're stumbling and falling.
They started out good, but they're not finishing very good, Matt. We'll talk more about KU K-State. That's a huge matchup. We'll talk more about that in the upcoming week. How about Ohio State, number 2?
Oof. I picked Michigan State to win, and they only lost by a point because they went 4-2 and then failed the conversion.
Do you like that move of them going for 2?
When you have 3 wins on the year, you got to go big or go home. I don't blame them.
I agree.
But it would have been sweet to have a victory over the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah.
And Ohio State got lucky to escape that game. They did not play like they had the past month, scoring 60 and 50 and a few times. Michigan State just came out and they said, we do not want to lose.
Yeah, it sets up a huge matchup this weekend. I'm kind of glad they did win because this weekend's going to be a great matchup.
It makes it much better.
I can't believe the game, though, with Ohio State and now Michigan is a noon game or 11 o'clock. It's one of the first games. How is that not your primetime matchup? Because the winner of that's going to continue in the college football rankings as a team that's probably going to compete for a championship. Team that loses, if it's got to be close, I think, for them to still have a chance in the college football playoff rankings. So, yeah, I was happy they won, but I Michigan State's record is not that good, and we've
They're
covered
not
that.
bowl eligible. The only
But
non-bowl eligible team in Michigan,
yeah,
according to Eric Harrington, who loves Michigan. He's from Michigan, so he would know. That's sad.
Sparty.
First off, Sparties, they've been bowl eligible for a while now, and then now they're not.
And on top of it, Michigan State's played Michigan tough. They've played Ohio State tough, so it's not like they've just been getting blown out. So, I'm not down on Sparty this year. I mean, I'm down because they're not winning games, but they're competing in games.
Yes.
So, Michigan, number 3, bounced back after a loss with a strong win. Not too strong, but a strong enough win. They won 20-10. Matt, your thoughts on that? I mean, it sets up
the matchup that the TV wants to see, the people of America, people of the Big Ten, they want to see. You always want to see a top-tier matchup between top seeds, and here you go.
And
now, we just have to wait and see. And, well, I guess since it's on Saturday and it's at 11 a.m., people will be eating dinner,
brunch
or lunch, whatever. Some people will still be eating Thanksgiving food this weekend, so it's not terrible. I'd rather watch it at like 5 instead of 11. 7:30 is awesome, but it could be too late. You never know what they have in their heads above our pay grade. So that's enough about those. We moved on to the top 25 matchups from this weekend, and boy, the number 9 Oklahoma, number 14 West Virginia game was not as close as we would have hoped. In the snow in Morgantown, Oklahoma cruised to a 56-28 victory. I honestly want the Chiefs to draft that whole offense. The offensive line, the D.D. Westbrook, Baker Mayfield, P. Ryan, Mixon, everybody. They are a solid offense. And watch out. They could sneak into this playoff. I know they lost to Ohio State and Houston, but they could sneak in. With their quality victories.
And their tough preseason. I mean, they played Ohio State.
Yeah.
Played Houston.
It looks good on resumes, no matter what happens.
Right now, I wouldn't want to play Oklahoma.
No.
And
they're hitting their cylinder, they're firing on all cylinders, hitting their stride at the perfect time of the season.
But here's the thing people forget. They can't win in the big game. They can't win the big game. They can get there always, but Big Bob Stoops can't deliver them. And you know, I recall earlier in the year where people were like, "Oh, Bob Stoops, I was one of them. He might be on his way out. You know, if he loses, K-State was playing him around that time. If K-State goes to Norman, upsets Oklahoma, Bob Stoops is probably out. I don't think there's any talk about Bob Stoops being out now. He's got this team rolling. Look out, because Oklahoma's a team that is on fire, and I think the playoff committee will look at that. A team that's playing good right now, so yeah, definitely be watching out for Oklahoma. They do play Oklahoma State this weekend, so that's a game. If they win that game, yeah, I think they're right in there with
Bedlam. That's what it is. That'll be. That's another matchup to watch this weekend. Oklahoma State.
Some good matchups to watch this weekend, and we'll have those for you on Friday.
Yes.
We'll have them covered. Matt.
Next matchup here.
This one was supposed to be played way early in the year, but a hurricane kind of derailed this matchup. But
still top 25 matchup.
Yeah.
Really.
Number 23, Florida, secures a spot in the SEC championship game with their 16-10 win in Baton Rouge over LSU. And then how about the pregame festivities? I mean, scuffles before the game. Leonard Fournette, who was listed not to play, all of a sudden goes in the locker room, dresses into uniform, and says, "I'm ready to play," after shoving some coaches before the game. I loved it. Thought it was a great game. We both lost this. We both thought LSU was going to win in Baton Rouge. They played Alabama tough earlier. You just never know, I guess. The SEC is still decent. This is not their most dominant year.
Not just Alabama. The other teams, the second tier, they're still relevant. Not as much as the Big Ten this year, they're quality.
Big Ten, I think, is by far best conference.
They are the best conference this year. In year out, the SEC is always there, always on top or second now to the Big Ten. But whoa, Florida. 23rd ranked team in the country just goes into Baton Rouge,
cruises through them,
beats them, and that's what you like to see. You want to see those other teams come up and keep playing. Year after Hargraves got drafted, and they are probably their best defensive player last year, got drafted, and they're still playing very well at a high level. And LSU's falling back. They've been falling back ever since. Kind of once Miles is out, they kind of come up. Now they're falling back down a little.
See what they do.
Come back down to earth. Off season will be very well. Yeah, off season.
Who knows if they'll keep their coach or their intern coach, or go out and look at someone else. Charlie Strong might be out there to look at.
They need a head coach that can win and can take that team to a different level. And we don't know who all the coaches will be exactly, but at the end of the season, we'll see it, and we'll have that covered, of course. Well, after this matchup, we move on to the West Coast. The Pac-12 this weekend Saturday had the number 10, the Colorado Buffaloes, who our friend Brent Kaiser will not stop commenting on our show about. The Buffs, they inch closer with the win over number 22 Washington State, and
you got upset.
I thought Washington State would win, but it's Colorado now has to win. If they win, they're in the championship game of the Pac-12.
Yes, because
USC won still, so they're still on pace, but
USC is on pace with Washington, and then how about them Oregon Ducks picking up a big win over Utah? That's where Colorado might just have their spot in the big Pac-12 championship with a showdown between Washington or USC. You're welcome, Brent, for that help the Ducks got. It's been a lame year for the Ducks, so Buffs. It's starting to be surreal now that they are competing again. They are right there. And they're going to move up because Louisville lost. So definitely keep your eye out for the Colorado Buffaloes. They do get Utah this week. If they win that,
they're in the championship.
And can they jump? Can they jump?
I would be ready for all these college football fans. Oklahoma and Colorado. Former rivals in the Big 12.
That'd be pretty sweet to see them two
really
square
cool.
off.
And we might see them because one of Ohio State or Michigan, one of them's going to fall. They have to play. Someone's going to lose. So you never know. Wisconsin might jump in after that. Oklahoma might jump in after that. There's going to be a shakeup. I'm already predicting it. A big shakeup. Assuming Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State.
And we will
huge shakeup in the rankings.
We'll have our playoff, our view of our rankings tomorrow. We'll have that. You guys definitely we want your input too as who you think. You know, if you like someone we put in there, if you despise it, we want you to talk about that. We didn't really want to get too much into the playoffs this week, like today, just because there's so many other hot things to talk about. And Matt, we'll put college football to rest today. I'm getting excited because NFL.
Well, this weekend was something in the NFL,
picks.
and I edged you out in the picks, but I was 500 at 3-3. You were 2-4. I'm 10-9 this year. Brandon is also 10-9. Whoa, we need bragging rights here. Come on, NFL. Anyways,
one team let me down big this week. And I will tell you about that in a second.
We have the Cowboys. They just keep rolling. They get their 9th consecutive victory. How about them boys?
Yep.
They defeated the Ravens at the number 1 rush defense, 27-17, behind Dak Prescott's 3-touchdown performance.
Woo!
Whoa, we both picked the Cowboys, and we were both really close to the correct score. Do the Cowboys keep winning, or do they lose at some point?
Their schedule is looking pretty good. I mean, they got some division games. The Redskins on Thanksgiving Day here on Thursday. I'll be excited to see that because that's going to be a good test. Washington put on a show last night. Kirk Cousins is playing great. I'm really starting.
Robert Kelly, that
yeah,
running back.
I'm really starting to think Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott, one of them is going to be your MVP this year. I have that feeling that they're both playing good. Dak yesterday, 3 touchdowns throwing, pretty good. 2 of them to Dez. It was good to see Dez Bryant going. It helped that the Baltimore's best cornerback was out. That did help, and you knew they'd open it up more in the passing game. Dez Bryant looked really good. A week after his father had passed away.
The day after his father's funeral.
He played. Yeah,
he still played and performed.
Yeah,
admirably.
Yeah, the boys are rolling. We'll see if they can keep it going Thursday. I love Thanksgiving games because I eat a ton of turkey, and then I just, watch, sit back, relax, and cheer on the boys. So That's where you'll find me Thursday afternoon, early evening, eating turkey, getting fatter. I'm sure everyone will be doing that, though. So, Matt, move on to our second matchup we had this weekend. Colts get out early to the Titans. They win a big game to keep pace in the AFC South, especially if Texans lose tonight. What was your thought on that game? We both had the Titans.
Whoa. I did not think the Colts had it in them, especially since the Titans have just been on cruise that they've been coasting to these wins, and their offense was firing really well, and somehow the Andrew Luck that we all know, that the Chiefs fans know, especially in that playoff game. I can't say any more about that. Everybody knows what happened. He showed up and they played well, and they beat their rival like they're supposed to, and it made it interesting of what's to come in this AFC South.
Yeah,
because it's anybody's ball game.
It is
anybody's ball game. Even the Jaguars aren't out yet, not yet, mathematically. Do you have anything to say about what happened this game?
There's
not much to say. The Colts beat the Titans.
Mariota and his
shut down the
offense started to get it going late, but it was not enough. It was too late. Too little, too late. Mariota, though, he's the real deal. He is the real deal. And, he was picked second to Jameis Winston, who yesterday shocked your Chiefs 19-17, winning in the Red Sea, which is tough, breaking up the KC's 5-game winning streak. Bucs have now won 5 straight. I did not know this going into the game. 4. I did not know this streak was alive. They've won 5 straight over the Chiefs dating back to '93, Matt, and we both took the Chiefs. Thoughts? You're quiet. He's speechless, guys. He is speechless. That doesn't happen very often. I know Trevor Smith's watching, or what has been. Who's a big Bucs fan and was at the game in the Red Sea.
The Chiefs' offense was pathetic. It's the best word, for lack of a better word, pathetic. Because yes, you have injuries by having Charles out and having Macklin injured another game, but Alex Smith and Andy Reid have to stop getting fancy in the red zone. Stop doing a tight end sweep to Travis Kelce. You do jet sweeps to Tyreek Hill, not Travis Kelce, who's 6'5", 250 pounds. That's 2 times the size of like Dat or Tyreek Hill. And you march all the way down to the field, the first drive, and you get a field goal. You take 757 off the clock, and you settle for a field goal. Thank you for Cairo Santos, yes, but the Buccaneers should not have won that dang game. I did hear with the pregame things from Winston saying we're not playing against the Noise, we're playing against the Chiefs. I did see today that the tomahawk chop that the Chiefs do was the Seminoles.
Yup.
Same thing. So it kind of pumped him up. I don't know if anyone caught on to that during the game or not, but somehow it helped him. And it was apparent we were missing Marcus Peters because he would have maybe picked off a ball or like broken up a few more passes because their receivers were
Mike Evans
getting 10, 15 yards down the field. It wasn't just Evans either. It was
Cecil
Shorts. Cecil Shorts was playing so well. I hope D Ford's fine. He came out in the second half, or didn't come out into the second half with a hamstring injury. I hope he's fine. I hope Marcus Peters is back. I hope Jeremy Macklin can play a little bit. And Alex Smith gets his head out of his butt and can throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You win 10 straight at home. You hadn't lost to Arrowhead in almost a little over 400 days, and you lose to the Buccaneers. And now I'm going to hear about it from Trevor next week. Still,
he's watching. You want to say?
I know Trevor's watching. I know he's laughing too. I just know it, and I hate it so much. That's enough about the Chiefs.
Matt,
for me.
This game could have been a blowout because the Bucs were always in. They had to settle for 3 field goals, didn't they? 4 was it 4? I knew at one point 3.
They went 4 straight field goals and then touchdown and won the game.
If they could have found the end zone, that would have been scary. Chiefs next. This was a game that I feel like the Chiefs needed because they got some key division games coming up. 2 with the Broncos, 1 with the Raiders.
One with the Chargers.
Yeah, 1 with the Chargers. I mean, this game could come back to haunt them. I'm not saying it's gonna.
Not in the AFC, but maybe overall record.
Yeah.
If Oakland wins tonight, we're a game behind them. With that with the Broncos, Sunday night football, Broncos, what a matchup in Denver. So, enough about the Chiefs. The Vikings, they snapped their 4-game losing streak thanks to their defense having a 100-yard pick six and a special teams touchdown from Cordarrelle Patterson, kickoff return touchdown, 104-yard kickoff return touchdown. We both picked the Cardinals, and now because the Cardinals have lost, and I think they're done. Vikings stay alive one more week.
I am so disgusted at the Arizona Cardinals, folks. This is ridiculous. Last year you were in the NFC Championship game, and you're going to play this bad this season when you called yourself saying you only needed a couple players, and you would be in the Super Bowl. You're not even going to make the playoffs. We're talking playoffs, folks.
Playoffs?
Playoffs!
Who's anything about playoffs?
This was the game that I had a lock this week on.
You and 95% of
Yes.
America.
The Cardinals, compared to what the Vikings have been doing, and you got to give credit to the Vikings. Their defense, once again, is winning games.
Their offense is...
Their offense is still struggling.
It's not there. It's non-existent.
Special teams coming through big when they need to.
That I can't
But
say.
the Cardinals are the...
It's...
Oh, I'm irritated at the Cardinals.
I'm livid about the Cardinals. Yes, I'm livid about the Chiefs. They got to move on, and they got to try to cut into the Seahawks lead. The Seahawks are unstoppable right now.
Yeah, and
it's probably not going to happen.
Bruce Arias might not even be coaching next week. He was in the hospital.
I hope he gets better.
Yes.
He went to the hospital with chest pains.
Yes.
He's fine. He's one heck of a coach.
He is a very good.
I know he can get this team back up to make a push for the playoffs, but I don't see it happening. I'm sorry for all the Cardinals fans. It hurts when Honey Badger didn't play.
Yeah,
either.
that too. And we'll talk more about probably these Cardinals in a bit.
Matt's fired up.
Oh yes, I'm livid right now.
The next game that we're going to talk about was the Sunday night game last night. The Washington Redskins outlasted the Green Bay Packers in pretty much a high offensive battle. Rodgers did his part with 300 some yards, and then Cousins just topped him, just outdid him. You had the Packers. I called the Redskins.
Yeah.
But I thought they would only score 24 points, and you had the Packers only scoring 28 points. Well, they didn't score 28. The Packers lost. Are they done after losing their 4th straight game, all because of their defense? Rodgers is doing everything he can. I feel like this is LeBron in 2009 with the Cavs. He's doing everything he can. He has no supporting cast. Everybody's hurt. Defense is pathetic.
I wish I had a towel right now.
How bad is that defense?
If I had a towel right now, because I got a wallet, I'm throwing in the wallet on the Packers. They're done. I wish that was my towel, folks. It's not. I forgot. I was going to grab one and I forgot. Packers are done. Aaron Rodgers is doing everything he can. Enough of Aaron Rodgers' fault.
It's not his fault.
It's not his.
No.
He's still putting up numbers. The defense is
24 points usually can win you many games.
Watch. I was laughing watching the game last night. It was very windy. You know, Washington was going into the wind in the fourth quarter. And what does Washington do? They still throw. And what's Green Bay do? Their secondary? Oh, they just let them run to the end zone pretty much. It was a laughing stock last night for the Green Bay defense. They are banged up. I'm not gonna just say it's because their secondary is just all trash. They're banged up. They really are. But you've at least got to protect and cover their wide receivers and not let them get way down the field. Yes, Packers are done. Their defense is one of the worst I've ever seen. Mike McCarthy now, I think, is definitely on the hot seat.
Defense coordinator.
Yeah, Mike Capers. He should be gone. Don Capers should be gone.
300 plus yards.
He should be gone.
30 plus points. 4 straight weeks. Giving up.
They took Rodgers out of the game late, just so he wouldn't get hurt. Their running game was a little better last night. Yes, they didn't have Christine Michael, which I'm guessing the Seahawks right now are thinking, why did we release Christine Michael?
With Pro-Size going down.
Pro-Size went down, and he's out for a while.
Yeah.
So, yes, Packers are done. Washington, Kirk Cousins is playing some of the best football. He's playing some of his best football he's played. Washington, Dallas this week. I think that's going to be a great game.
Possibly game of the week, unless the KC steps up. But
yeah.
What do you have any more thoughts on this game?
No,
Sunday night game.
Packers are done.
Okay, so I agree. What was in your opinion, what was the biggest win this week for an NFL franchise?
I've got 2 teams, and one from the AFC, one from the NFC. I got the Miami Dolphins in the AFC. Ryan Tannehill came back again in the fourth quarter, delivered on the road in Los Angeles to defeat the Rams. Dolphins aren't out of the playoffs. They're sitting a game back right now of the Chiefs, and I believe, are they 2?
2 games of the Patriots.
2 games of the Pats, yeah. But I think 1 game out of the wild card spots.
I believe so.
And so you've got to look out for the Dolphins because they are starting to finally play. And this is a team.
1 game back. You're correct.
This is between Chiefs and Broncos, right?
Chiefs and Broncos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which they could jump in if they get a win next week, and because one of those teams is going to lose. This is finally the Dolphins are looking like a team everyone has had high hopes on. They've not competed the last few years when people said they got a great team, they got Tannehill, they got a good defense, decent defense. Yeah, Jarvis Landry is a stud, and so this is a team that's starting to finally play. And so I give them a big win, and then my NFC team's the Tampa Bay Bucs. That's a huge win. I mean, as hard as it is for me to say that to you, I know that hurts deep down. That's a huge win for the Bucs.
It is a very quality win. They are also my NFC team of the win of the week, biggest win of the week. But it's not as much as the Indianapolis Colts beating the Titans. The Colts winning, that moved them to 5-5 on the year, and within their division, they're only, I think, a half game back.
Yeah,
of the Texans. So, and they're half game up on the Titans, which really helps. I'm pretty sure the Titans have a bye this week. And so, with that said, the AFC South is so close together that any of them 3 teams, prominently 3 teams, not the Jags, they're down, actually.
Yeah.
I think that the game and a half, actually, is behind the Texans after they'll play tonight. I think the Colts could sneak out if they figure stuff out.
They got a big one next week. Seattle on Thanksgiving night.
Oh gosh,
Or not Seattle, Pittsburgh, sorry. Pittsburgh, Steelers.
Oh, that changed everything.
Yeah. So, I mean,
if they would, they could have gone. They could have lost this week and maybe next week, and they would have been done for good.
easy. Yeah, they're still alive. I mean, they kept their season alive.
It helps them out.
And I don't think the Titans are quite done yet. Because,
No.
I mean,
Because the division's so tight
Yep.
right there. The three teams in that division.
okay, Matt. We said the biggest win. Who has the worst loss this week?
It's a three-way tie.
Okay.
Between the Green Bay Packers, who have lost 4 straight, the Arizona Cardinals, who have just gone downhill like the Vikings did early in the year, and then they lose to the Vikings, and my Kansas City Chiefs, because the defense is stellar against the run right now. Even they've learned to play without Josh Maga and Justin March, Lillard,
Yep.
and Allen Bailey. The pass defense without Marcus Peters it gets roughed up a little bit against young quarterbacks, but the switch over to the other side of the ball, the offense is that's all I can say is not good. So that was not a very good. That was a terrible loss by the Chiefs. It was embarrassing for Kansas City fans who were at that game and had to sit next to Trevor Smith, who was hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
With that said, who are your teams for the worst loss this week? Team or teams?
I'd have to agree with those three. The biggest one, I think, is Cardinals. I have to say it because the Cardinals, being that close to a Super Bowl last year and really not losing anyone.
They gained Honey Badger, healthy
Yeah.
Honey Badger.
So, yeah, I got to say the Cardinals. But then I'd say the Packers. And I'm really losing a ton of hope in the Packers now, too. Both those teams. And then, yeah, the Chiefs. I mean, at home, where they've been dominant.
10 straight wins.
Yeah. Tough one. That's a tough one. So,
All right, we're over that part. Another interesting fact about NFL yesterday.
not just yesterday,
not just
because we
yesterday.
still got one more tonight.
Who can make a PAT? Nobody, it seems like. There was 12 PATs missed yesterday. Is that why more coaches are starting to go towards the 2-point conversions now, like the Steelers? There's 18 now missed in the last 2 weeks.
Maybe.
Set a record.
Yeah. I would probably say yes. But I'm not so sold on it. You might see a couple more teams now try, but yeah, these field goals now, they're gonna start determining games.
Yeah. Now that we're getting final 6 games of the year.
Yeah. So 18 have been missed in the last 2 weeks, and we still got one tonight, folks. So there could be one more, or
3.
2, or 5. Yeah. You just never know.
No one can make one.
It's in Mexico.
Sea bass.
No one's played. They haven't played on that field. So.
That'll be interesting. Definitely.
Matt, some big injuries this week.
Big injuries for not just the teams, but for fantasy football teams.
Yeah. Sorry if you have any of these guys. First one, let's just start 2 for the Bengals. AJ Green, who it was reported last night that he was probably going to be done for the year. However, today the MRI revealed it's not a torn hamstring, just a strain. That's good news, but they got some bad news because Giovanni Bernard tore his ACL. He's out for the year. It's a big blow. It's a big blow for their running game. So And I think they're done too already. I mean, their season's over.
Steelers Ravens are taking over the division. I don't see them coming out alive.
Yeah, the other one was Shady McCoy. And he's been fighting injuries all year.
And he still scored a touchdown.
Yep.
He looked fine.
He's got to have surgery on his hand, but is not ruled out for this week.
Whoa.
He's going to play with the big old cast club. So, which is hard for a running back, I think, but we'll keep an eye on that. And then CJ Procise, shoulder injury, expected to be out.
I know how that feels.
Scapula injury.
Shoulder injuries are not cool, especially if you have to hit someone in pads or get hit by someone in pads. It's not fun. That was just the key injuries this week. We hope to not have more, but we'll have updates on everybody later on. We'll switch gears from football to the Rednecks Are Us, the Sprint Cup Series. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship was last night, or yesterday. Yeah, last night.
Well, it finished
last night at Homestead. JJ, Mr. Jimmy Johnson.
Team Hendrick.
Team Hendricks. He won his 7th career NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship, tying him with Richard Petty and Mr. Senior, Dale Earnhardt, for most all-time championships. Whoa. Another fun fact, he won his first Sprint Cup championship at the age of 31. He won his 7th at the age of 41.
You do the math.
10 years. He is the fastest ever. I believe Senior was 12 years apart, around there.
Yeah.
Petty was, what, 13?
13, I think,
13
yeah.
and a half. That is incredible. I don't care if you sit around and you're sitting the whole time, you're driving at almost 200 mile an hour, on and off. That's scary.
And it was a great race. I actually watched the end of it, like the last 20 laps. It was really sweet. It was a great race. Carl Edwards was leading the 4 finalists until a restart. And Joey Logano, had a great restart, bounced down low. Edwards went to block, clipped him. Edwards' championship was over. Logano finished 2nd, I believe, unless Kyle Busch caught him at the end. I wasn't real focused on that. I was excited to see Jimmy win. We both called that earlier last week. Team Hendrick.
What a win. That team, just all around that team has been
champions.
Solid for the last. That's 7 out of 10. That's for Jimmy Johnson. That is.
And Jeff Gordon had a ton when he was a Team Hendrick. Team Hendrick is the team to beat.
That's true for NASCAR fans. Is this a dynasty for Jimmy Johnson? I mean, duh. Who am I kidding? I answered my own question. Yes. This is a dynasty, no matter what sport you're talking about. 7 out of 10.
And what's impressive
that's
is
a 70% success rate.
They've changed the Sprint Cup formula, like the way the championship works. And if Jimmy could win a couple more, he might be the greatest of all time. I know it's hard to say because Petty and Earnhardt Sr. are the greats. But you would have to put him up there because of the way this new format works. Junior he said, I wish my dad could be here to shake Jimmy's hand. And it would have been sweet because
classy.
You know that's what Dale Earnhardt Sr. would have done. It was a sad day when he could no longer race and was gone because of a wreck. But I'm telling you, Jimmy Johnson's right up there with 2 of the best ever. So, congrats to Jimmy. Congrats to Team Hendrick. Hey, those NASCAR fans, we'll have you back in February for the Great American Daytona 500. Matt, college basketball AP rankings, they were released today. Your thoughts on them? I mean, kind of what we expect.
Yeah, a little shift. But the rankings, the top 5 were Kentucky, Villanova, Indiana, North Carolina, KU, and then Duke fell down from 1 to 6. Those 6 schools are always up there. They really are. In the last 100 years, they've been up there with the Blue Bloods of Kentucky, Duke, KU, and North Carolina. and then Indiana beating KU earlier this year, and Nova winning last year. This is a solid group.
It is.
It's way too early still, but you might see these 6 teams back, possibly in the Elite Eight this year, depending on where they're seated and where they're placed. This could be the 6 of the 8 Elite Eight teams. And I want to see those 6 teams.
Yeah, I would love to see those teams too.
The competition, it makes it exciting.
Yeah. But I also want to see some upset teams in there.
That's true.
Because it is madness.
Yep. There's
So,
always a 12 seed.
Yeah. So, hey, there you go. Bracketology's already we're already bringing our bracketology to you guys. No, yeah, I think the committee got them right. I mean, it's so early.
Yeah.
What is this, week 3 of the rankings? So, really no...
KU plays tonight. Some other schools play tonight.
Some played last night.
Some played yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
Kentucky did, I think, as well. Yeah.
That's enough about college basketball. We'll move on to tonight's marquee matchup for Monday Night Football. The Houston Texans, who are 6-3, they're on the road still, but both teams are on the road with Oakland Raiders as well, 7-2 in Mexico City. Whew! Across the border. The Raiders are stellar, that offense. Hopefully Amari Cooper can play with his injuries. The Texans don't look like the team that should be 6-3, and they said it yesterday on NFL Today that they are not playing like the record shows. That's why the spread is the Raiders by 6. I'm taking the Raiders by 7, 28-21. You can quote me on that. It's going to be 28-21. I need a win this weekend.
I've got the Raiders too, but I got them by 11, 24-13.
I hate saying that as a Chiefs fan, but I don't like the Texans.
Yeah.
And it'll be full circle. If the Raiders beat the Texans have beat the Chiefs have beat the Raiders already, held them to 10 points. They're not the best team in the AFC West. So
yeah, so
I'll keep putting that stuff in there.
yeah, I just think Raiders are going to be too much. Texans have been fortunate to win a couple games this year. I mean, the comeback win against the Colts. I mean, that's got to be stinging the Colts right now because they could be right there with the Texans.
Yep.
I mean, they're back behind them now, but they could be right there with them.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see it in Mexico City. I'm
different change of pace.
I'm pretty excited. I'm ready to see it. We have Baseball Hall of Fame. Matt, do you want to talk a little on that?
Yeah, the ballot was the players that are listed on the ballot were released last night or I think it was early this morning, with some first-year entries, some notable first-year entries as Vladimir Guerrero, Pudge Ivan Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, and Jorge Posada. They highlight the talented group of first-year entries this year. The class of 2017 for MLB Hall of Fame is going to be announced January 18th. It'll be hosted on MLB Network and at MLB.com. And the induction will take place July 30th in Cooperstown, New York, where everyone knows that's where the Baseball Hall of Fame is. So that's it'll be exciting to see those. Hopefully, I like those 4 selections that are first-year entries.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at them.
Those 4 deserve it.
Yeah.
And
they'll all get in at some point.
A few people, I agree. That none of them did steroids or PEDs scandal, so they should make it. They had talented careers. Let's move on to some breaking news today.
Yeah.
Big breaking news for the United States.
Yep. Jurgen Klinsmann has been relieved of his coaching duties for the men's national U.S. soccer team. Kind of saw this coming. I mean, there was a lot of talk.
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. He was there 5 years. He had a record of 55, 27, and 6, I believe. Is this good for the U.S., Matt? Yes or no?
Both. He had the experience, but it was time to move on, and we can see with a change of scenery for different change of pace, see if the team can move on and excel. And if they can excel without him, it was meant to be.
Yep.
So, what's meant to be will be.
And then Jarrell Freeman, the the linebacker for the Bears. He is the second one now in the last week to test positive for PED use. He gets a 4-game suspension, joining his teammate, Alshon Jeffrey.
So it's tough for the Bears. They've lost some people to injury all year, and they just keep going down. Maybe next year if they don't keep doing all that stuff.
It's not helping them either. No. That's the funny thing. They're not kicking them while
they're kicking themselves while they've already been down. Next one, Adrian Peterson. He could return in December, according to ESPN reports. He's making big strides in his recovery from tearing his meniscus. What, 2 months ago now? 2.5 months ago now?
Yeah. They need him.
Yeah.
They get him back.
That offense could be more. It'll help with AP.
Yeah.
One of the best of all time.
Agree.
So.
If someone's dropped him on your fantasy league, go pick him up.
Pick him up.
I did. In one of my
quality
leagues.
Player.
So
always will be.
Yeah. That kind of wraps our show up today. We'll look ahead to tomorrow. We will have our Monday night recap, as we always do. We'll dive into our college football playoff rankings. We will not be showing, obviously, on Thursday, so we might dive into some NBA and some hockey. Not quite sure yet. And then we'll also bring you the hot topics and breaking news. Remember, fans, Wednesday is the debut of our Fan Wednesday show, where you, the fans, can call in and talk about the hottest sports topics right now, matchups.
Topic up for discussion this week is MVP race for NFL.
NFL, yeah.
It's getting down to the wire, and we would love your input.
And then we'll also be doing picks for Thanksgiving days, for Thanksgiving games on Thursday. So, you guys can join in, and we'll cover that before we open up the phone lines. And we will provide more of that information on our Facebook page. Make sure you go like us on Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. And then look up us on Twitter at MHSM Sports Show. Follow us there. We will provide our phone number to call in to the Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show the afternoon when the phone lines open. And we will hope you guys all take advantage of that and call in. We want to hear your thoughts on hot sports topics, whether it's the college football playoff rankings, NFL teams, other news in sports.
Anything sports, like
we will be
be
ready.
Here. Don't throw us a curveball, but
yeah,
it'll be funny if
it'll be fun.
Smitty.
Yeah, throw one at me.
Do that.
I'll whiff probably, But yeah, just make sure you guys. We want you guys to interact with us, and that's the best way we feel like we can do it. As of now, we're getting more comfortable with the show and having more fun with it. We thought, hey, let you guys call in, talk, give us your thought on certain topics. So for
Matty Highland,
Smitty McQueen, we thank you for watching today's show and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We will show at 12 noon tomorrow Central Time. So those of you, we will do that the rest of the week. So you guys tune in. We'll be live at 12 o'clock during everyone's noon hour in the Central Time time hour. And then if you're on the East Coast, hey, you're going to have to catch you at 1. So anyway, thank you guys. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And go Cowboys.